help their career. So today, my topic is about happiness. So we're going to look at what are some simple ways to boost your happiness. And this topic is especially, I think, is really helpful and dear to my heart at this time of the year, because this is the holiday seasons and people want to feel happy. However, 2020 is such a special year. Everybody's stuck at home, at least in the US, right? We are still at home. I know in China, my friends from China, they are already back to school, back to work a long time ago. I think in springtime, they're already back. Life is normal there, but here we are still staying at home, and we're thinking about maybe next summer we can get out. So that's where we are. But still, you have a lot of simple things you can do at home right now to help you boost your happiness, to help you live a happier life. And as Nicole introduced me, I do a lot of different things. One thing I would just want to highlight today is the Happiness Studies Academy. This is a institute. Uh, um, this is an institute started by Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, and I will talk about him a little bit later. So it's the content of here. Basically, the key content is not what I invented. I just take his content, some of maybe small piece of the useful content, and share the content with you. And I'm a certified trainer, so I'm certified to share this content. The other thing is for this workshop, I'm going to do the similar workshop at Microsoft, because I am a trainer and coach at Microsoft, and I want to do it today with our audience here for free and see how things go, so I can tweak it. So let's experiment different things together. All right, I want to start the session with a mindfulness practice. This is a very simple one. It's just 2 minutes of breathing mindfulness practice. And there are many different ways doing the breathing practice, right? I will introduce you with something, it's called a 4x4. So it's very simple. I will spend 1 minute to do the introduction, then we do another 1 minute of the breathing. What we're going to do is just sit comfortably uh, wherever, yeah. And then we will breathe in and out through our nose. So what you're going to do is you will 4x4. It means you count 1, 2, 3, 4 when you breathe in, then you hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, then you let it out from your nose 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pause for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you do the next round. So it's very simple. And don't hold yourself too hard. If you don't want to hold for 4 seconds, that's fine. Okay, and I will start with just counting it together with you. If you want to close your eyes, feel free to close your eyes or do whatever. All right, let's do it. Okay, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Now do it at your own pace. Just another 3 times. All right, now come back. I hope this can help you feel calm, and no matter what you were doing, now you can feel peaceful and calm, and now you can concentrate. Okay, this is a mindfulness practice, a very small one. I do these type of things, different varieties of breathing exercise through the day, and especially when because I do a lot of teaching, now on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. So just 2-3 minutes help me calm down, help me compose myself before I start. Sometimes I can be very nervous, especially when I have a bigger audience. Then this helps me to relax. All right, just a few more words about myself. I do a lot of different things. So I worked in Microsoft for many years before, and I was full-time there. My last role was a director. I was managing a team. Then I decided to start my own company, focus on consulting and training. So that's the company Pacific Technologies Consulting Group. And Microsoft also hired me back as a coach and trainer for the company. So I train managers at Microsoft. Uh, for me, at this age, after 20 plus years in all these tech companies, I decided that my personal mission is to help organizations, help the teams and the individuals to fulfill their potential, uh, become better self. That's why I am certified in many different types of coaching, including happiness studies, because I want to be happier and I also want to bring what I learned to share with other people so everybody can be happier. And because if they are happier, then they can do better in their work and in their success. So that's the kind of things I do, and I didn't update this slide. So you see, I have my podcast. I have one in English and one in Chinese. And I also put my 2019 highlight, which is I co-founded the China chapter for the Microsoft Alumni Network. Now we should talk about the 2020 highlight. The 2020 highlight is I launched the Happiness Journey, this class. It's a series of 12 workshops in 2020, and I've done all the 12 workshops. So the full set is done. And in 2021, I'm going to launch it for like 3 times. So year round doing that. Anyway, very exciting about that. Okay, now let's come back to the topic. We are talking about happiness, ways to boost happiness. So first, let's look at why should we pursue happiness? I'm quoting, or this is I got this quote by learning from Tal Ben-Shahar. I think this tells us about how people from 2,000 years ago thinks about happiness or thought about happiness, right? Aristotle, he said, happiness is the meaning and purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. And Tal Ben-Shahar called happiness is the ultimate currency. So that's why happiness is important to us. From history, people realize that, and today. Then I want to give you this poll question. What brings happiness to you? Think about it. Is it money, success, relationships, power, or help others? Nicole, can you launch the poll? Okay, it's there. So if you do that, then you can just pick one and don't forget to click the submit. So we will see.
Can we only pick one or can we pick more than
Oh,
one?
pick multiple. You can pick multiple.
Oh.
Sorry, it's multiple choice.
Okay.
Okay. We still have a couple of people haven't decided. Let's give a few more seconds to finish this. I'm going to count down. If you haven't made up your mind, just pick one or pick two. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So let me see the result. You see, a lot of us think relationships and helping others are the key things bring happiness to us. And some people think money, success, and power. I don't have a standard answer for you, but Dr. Ben-Shahar has an answer, has something through the research we will show you. Okay, thanks for that.
Lucy says in the chat that she picks all.
She picks all.
And since I was running it, I wasn't able to vote either, but I'm thinking relationships would be my number one, I would think, but also, I guess, success, sort of. Depending upon what the definition of success is, I think the definition of success goes far beyond money and is.
Yeah, it's your own definition, right?
Right, exactly. Success is, I think, having what you want, you know. So I'm kind of going with relationships and success on that one.
Okay.
So anyhow, and Lucy says all. So
yeah, it can. I think whatever makes sense to you, right? Okay, so now did you share the results to people?
I did.
Okay, now let's move on.
Okay.
So that was a quick poll question for us to think about ourselves. Now I'm giving you another question. This question is actually the title of a paper written by Dr. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. He's the professor of psychology at a university. He wrote this paper, I think it's published in 1999, and it's one of the most quoted paper by psychologists around the world. By the way, I want to just emphasize, everything I'm showing you today is from research. It's from many different researchers, professors, academics. They did that, and Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, he studied all this research. Then he put together his study, his thing, lectures, and then I learned from him, and I can teach some of those stuff. Okay, so I didn't make up anything. Now let's look at this the research paper title. The question that Mihaly threw into everybody was, if we are so rich, why aren't we happy? And this paper was, in the U.S. So in the U.S. In the 1999, in the 90s, America is already the most, I think, the richest country in the world. And why, if we are so rich, why aren't we happy? I want to give you this question, and please type in your chat whatever comes up to your mind about this question. I'll give you a few seconds to complete this. Nicole,
are you all being shy? No, there are no comments yet. Are you all being shy? You can type in the chat. There we go. The meaning of life they don't seek. Lucy, let's see. Can you explain that a minute, Lucy? The meaning of life they don't seek?
Oh, I'm not sure if Lucy can talk. She's
I see. Maybe I think they don't seek the meaning of life. Okay. And let's see. And Rocio says, because people might have money, but they're not doing what they love.
Could be.
And let's see. Shujang, probably hold on a second. Probably the material isn't as important. The material isn't as important as the spiritual.
Okay, I given the time, because we have limited time, I will just review a little bit of the core content from the paper. From Mihaly, from his research, he showed it's because the ambiguous relationship between material and subjective well-being. What does this mean? It means, well, if people, in his paper, I read his paper, he said, if people have very little, right? If they're really poor, they don't have their basic needs being fulfilled or being met, such as having enough food, have shelter, have the very basic. Think about the Maslow's the 5 levels, right? If they don't have the lower level covered, then money is really important to them. Material is very important to them because they need those basic stuff. However, if people are covered with this basic needs, and to a certain, especially to a certain level in the US, because middle class, we already have those, then material, more stuff we have cannot bring more happy or happiness to us. So that's the finding. And then Mihaly, in his paper, he talked about flow. Uh, he shared some thoughts about how we can get to that spiritual and the flow. Anyway, so that's the core content of the paper. I think more importantly, the question should be, well, once we know money or material cannot just bring us as much happy as we want, right? It's not the more you have, the happier you are. Then the question should, I think, it's more important for us to think about. Then how can we live a happier life, right? How can everybody, be happier than before? So that's a question that many scholars, many people are studying. And among them, one of the person is Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. And he did a lot of research, and he studied other people's research, and he wrote a lot of books about happiness, happier. He, as I mentioned, he taught classes in Harvard, and one of his very popular course is positive psychology, and his class was really popular. So he had over 850 students in one class. So his class was not in a standard classroom. um, and he left Harvard after a number of years teaching there. He started a number of companies, including Happiness Studies Academy. This is the academy that he really wanted people to live a happier life. And then he created the certificate in happiness studies course, which I took. The course is a 1-year course, started from his Harvard course. Then he developed more. It's a combination of many different subjects into this one new subject, happiness studies. So today I will just share with you a little bit of it because we don't have a lot of time, but I want to share with you that you can use immediately. All right. First thing I think is really important is to understand success and happiness, the relationship. That's why we had that poll, and some of you also think success can bring happiness. It's the cause for happiness. Happiness is the result, the effect. So that's the mental model for many people. A lot of people think if we make it more general, it's more like well, if I have a goal, if I attain that goal, I reach that goal, then I'm successful in that goal, right? Then I will feel happy when I get there. However, based on research, a lot of research, this is being proven not right. It's wrong. Not the relationship is not success brings happiness. The relationship is, I will tell you through some of the research. One of the research is done by Harvard University psychologist Professor Daniel Gilbert. He studied happiness, and he did research by asking professors or teachers in universities right before they get the news about if they get the tenure. because getting tenure is very important for people who wants to stay in the university to teach there. This is a lifelong, like have a secure in their job if they get the tenure. And if they don't, then that means they are fired and they need to find another job. So this is so important for those teachers in universities. And before they got the final result, the question is asking them about, well, what do you think? If you get the tenure, how are you going to feel? And the people say, well, then I will be really happy, and this will last for a really long time. And if I don't get it, I will be really sad, and it will also impact the rest of my life, right? Long time. So that's the thought people have. However, the result happened is um, the the uh, the the result is, well, when the teachers get the tenure, they are really happy, right? They have a spike in terms of their happiness level. But after a short time, maybe just a couple of months, they go back to where they were before, the same level. If they were happy, then they go back to the happiness level. If they were not happy, then they go back to that level. And the same to the people who didn't get the tenure, then they will be really sad for some time. Then they also went back to the same level as before. So that proves the success leads to happiness. This equation is not right. That's one of the studies, and there are a lot of studies. People also studied the lottery winners. They were really happy when they got the big money all of a sudden, overnight become rich people. And then after a short while, they return to the same level of happiness. So the model, success brings happiness, is proven to be wrong. It may bring very short time of the happiness, but people went back. Then some other researchers found the like Sonia Lubomirsky, she's in University of California, Riverside, and her research found that the other side of the equation is right. So if people are happy, they can be more successful. Happier people, they can have higher income. They are their performance is better no matter if they're in school or they're at work, and they are healthier. A lot of good things happen. So that's also proven by research, and that tells us a very important message: what we focus on. If we focus on the positive side, the positive thinking, we will strengthen our positive side of thinking, and our energy attention is on that, and that will bring good things. And if we're focusing on the negative side, then that will strengthen the negative side of effect and will bring negative things. So that's the uh, result, that's the finding. Now the question is, uh, going back to the question I asked you, after we know money cannot just bring happiness, then how do we pursue happiness? I will start with the definition that Dr. Ben-Shahar gave us. He really did a lot of research, and he read a lot, and he brought in the Western and the Eastern, because I grew up in China, so the Eastern side of philosophy I'm more familiar with, and also he studied the Western side. So he brought both sides and a lot of subjects together, and he came up with this definition. He thinks happiness is the experience of whole person well-being. So the key words here is whole person. And how do we look at a whole person? And uh, through his study, Dr. Ben-Shahar put together this model, or a framework for us to look at pursuing happiness. He thinks these 5 elements can be a very useful way for us to pursue happiness. These are spiritual well-being, physical well-being, intellectual well-being, relational well-being, and emotional well-being. I would say these are not the only model, only framework that exists today. If you have studied other people's work about happiness, and I also studied something else, and some people have a different model. And I remember one of the thing I studied, they also have environment, outside environmental things there. So you may see different models, but this one is the one that I want to introduce to you. Okay, from these 5 different things, think about us as a whole person, about these different well-beings. Then we add together. Then how exactly can we get to the spiritual well-being and all these different well-being, these 5 elements? Well, Dr. Ben-Shahar, he has a lot of stuff, many things, but one of the simple way to look at it is, well, summarize 10 paths to the pursuit of happiness. And each of the elements we put in 2 paths, and there are a lot more. In his 1-year course, I would say many more than this. This is like less than 10% of his 1-year study, the program, what we learn. But it's a very useful way, practical way to look into it as a starting point. So for today, because the time we have, very limited time, I want to emphasize or concentrate our time on 2 of the paths. One is mindfulness under the spiritual well-being, and another is gratitude under the emotional well-being. So this is what I'm going to focus on next. All right, but there are 10. And in my full course, we will talk about all the 10. Now, let me focus on the path of mindfulness. In the very beginning, we did a 2-minute, actually, it was 1-minute breathing exercise. That was one of those mindfulness practice. Very simple to do, right? But what is mindfulness? Well, the simple definition of mindfulness here we are talking about is present moment awareness. Present moment awareness, it means, to me, it means I am aware what I'm doing right now. I am really focusing on trying to share the great content that I learned from Dr. Ben-Shahar. And for you, maybe you are concentrating, your present moment awareness is trying to absorb the knowledge or listening to what I'm talking about or looking at the slide here. Present moment awareness, it also means, well, if you are doing your housework, like the picture here, right? Cutting the vegetables, you are really focusing on that moment versus you are doing one thing and your mind is floating and thinking about other things. That's present moment awareness. Very simple definition. And of course, if you search online, there are many different definitions about mindfulness. But here in this class, in this moment, this is what we're talking about. And this can bring a lot of calm and peace for us. And with that, then we will experience happier moment versus you are thinking about 10 different things. You have this monkey mind, right? Everything's floating there. And when I'm doing this talk and I'm thinking about, I need to get my car fixed or something else, that will distract me from enjoying the moment now. Now, let's do a really quick exercise of this mindfulness. Take a moment and feel what you are feeling now. This can be things like, well, since I'm sitting, so I will take a moment to really feel how my feet are touching the ground, right? Are touching the floor. I'm sitting, so how my body is touching the chair. Feel it. And see what you can hear. Notice what you can hear right now. Oh, I hear the clock on the wall. It's always there, but I didn't hear it before. So that's the moment you give to yourself. You tune into your mind. You let your senses, all these different senses, to feel. what is surrounding you. You can smell, you can hear, you can see, or you can just feel the touch. That's mindfulness. All right, it's very simple, very easy to do. And for you, I think just to think about this, bring the awareness to whatever you are doing. That's mindfulness. I want to show you some research. Again, this course is packed with research. It's not a chicken soup saying, "Oh, this is great," based on my personal experience. It's all based on research. I want to introduce you to this gentleman. He's the pioneer of mindfulness. This is a Professor John Kaba Zing. You can search him on YouTube, online, or on everywhere. One of the book he wrote, I really like the title, Wherever You Go, There You Are. It really talks about the essence of mindfulness. Quote from him, all of us have the capacity to be mindful. All it involves is cultivating our ability to pay attention in the present moment. In the present moment, you are listening. In the present moment that you are looking at the slide, right? Or doing a learning. So he did a lot of research, and I want to show you something I think that may help you really realize what you can do in your daily life to make a big difference. The research he did together with Richard Davidson on the impact of mindfulness is a program they called MBSR. It's Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Program, MBSR. And they did a 8-week intervention, only 8 weeks. What they did is they asked the participants to take a few hours of class each week. Then they ask them to do meditation, 45 minutes per day. So only 8 weeks. And compare the participants to the people who are the control group. Those are the people who are, waiting for the program. They found, well, the participants have lower anxiety. They have improved mood. Even their brain changed. It's just amazing. They showed pictures of the scanned brain. The brain showed the part of we call happier brain. That part is very active. And they also injected certain bacteria to these participants and also the other people who are the control group. And they found the participants had stronger immune response. So that's just amazing. 45 minutes a day, that's 8 weeks, that's what they see, the impact. And what's more amazing is, beyond this, is, well, I'll show you. There are people, they are good students, they do the 45 minutes per day. And there are people who are overachievers, they did 50 minutes per day. And there are people only did 15 to 20 minutes per day, right? And there are people only did 3 times per week versus every day. And they found that benefited just as much as the people who did the 45 or 50 minutes per day. And why? So the researcher looked, trying to find an answer to that. And the conclusion they had is, well, these participants were reminded to be mindful because they are in this program. So they are being reminded to be mindful. Even though they didn't sit down or lie down to do this meditation, they are reminded to be mindful. So they are ready at many times, at many things they're doing, they are more be aware of the present. They are at the present. So that's the result from what they're doing.
Michelle, we have a question. Do you have a moment?
Yeah, can you just bring it in? I cannot see the chat. Sure. I was trying to bring it up.
The question is, sorry. The question is, what meditation was done or should be done, I guess from this study, what exactly is the meditation, or she asked what music I guess is used. So I guess the format of the specific meditation that was maybe used in that study.
Okay, so there are many studies that have been done. For that particular study, I don't remember what exactly the meditation. They may have done a variety of different things, but any type of meditation can help, can be very helpful. And in the program I was in for this 1 year, we try many different types of meditation, including music. Then you find out what works best for you. But in that study, I don't know specifically which one. I think they may have a variety of different things because 8 weeks they may introduce different types of meditation format. And I also read many other professors or researchers' paper, including Sonia Lyubomirsky, the person I mentioned earlier, and she also tried many different types of meditation. So for the participants, I think yeah. Maybe many different meditations can be helpful, can show similar results. So when you do meditation, if you want to do it, it's more important to find the one that fits you. Some of the meditations works very well for me, some may not. So pick something, try different things when you start, and pick something that works for you. Then you can stay with that one if it works the most for you. For me, the breathing one is really helpful. I think that just quick and gets to get to the result or effect pretty fast. Some people can do really deep. They go really really deep. Then they in that moment they are like floating or they can get to a certain stage that I hope I can do that. I'm not there yet. All right. Now, let's come back to how do we practice mindfulness? Mindfulness, well, we have the formal mindfulness meditation. It also have different types. And we also have informal mindfulness practice. You can think about this formal, informal mindfulness practice as like you go to your exercise, right? The formal exercise you do is you go to maybe a gym or you run in the park. And the informal exercise can be things like you do the housework, you play with your dog, or play with your kids. I have kids, I don't have dogs. Or you carry your grocery, you do the laundry, right? All these things. Because you are moving your body, you are getting some effect from the exercise, from doing those things. So mindful meditation can be things like you sit down or lie down and you do the breathing exercise we did earlier. So that's a mindful meditation and many other ways. And in more informal mindful practice, it can be something like, well, go out for a walk. When you are cooking, concentrate on the cooking, the cutting board, cutting the vegetable, feel it, watch it, and really really smell the vegetable when you cut it, how this whole sensation works, right? How you get all these different things, just experience it. It can be things like even when you're doing this cleaning, right? Yeah, be aware of what you are doing, notice what you are doing. And the one we just did earlier, sitting there and notice your body and notice the sound nearby around you. That's all informal mindfulness practice. For me, I like to go out walk, or I like to just do things, and even just preparing my presentation. I was practicing my informal mindfulness because I was very concentrated in it. So you can do it at any time.
And
Think about
Lucy made a comment here that also when you're eating, feel the food when you eat it.
exactly. A lot of times, I remember when I was working really hard before, I was eating in front of the computer. I even didn't know what I was eating. I just fulfill a function so that I can survive. Yes, notice what you are eating and taste it, smell it. Yeah. Think about what kind of an informal mindfulness practice can you do so that you can benefit from that. And that can help you feel calm and help you feel more productive and you feel good about yourself. And that brings happiness to you. You feel you are happier than you are being torn into many different pieces. Okay. I don't know if you all have something like a pen or paper besides you. If you do, when I show this purple text, that's where I think some sort of exercise you can do for yourself, or sometimes I give you the time to do together. If you have some ideas, you can just jot it down so you can practice right away. All right. Here, Dr. Ben-Shahar, he summarized 4 very simple guidelines for mindfulness practice. These are the guidelines for both the formal or the informal mindfulness practice. Very simple. And by the way, I will send you something if after we finished. If you send me an email, I can send you some resource so that you will be able to have a lot of the useful tips for you. All right. So the first one, allow the mind to rest on a single object. That is the awareness, the present moment awareness. No matter what you are doing, if you are in a meeting, stay in the meeting. Yeah, keep your mind there. And return to focus when your mind is floating, wandering away. A lot of times, even I was trying to do my breathing, right? If I give you a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, you will see many times your brain, your mind is going to other places. It's fine. Just when you notice that, bring it back. And when you are in a meeting and when you are in this workshop, your mind may sometimes go away, right? Your kids, maybe they're talking or something. You may pay attention to that. That's okay. Just when you realize that, bring your focus back. That's it. And breathe slowly, gently, and deeply if you can. And accept that there's no good or bad practice. Because when we are practice mindfulness, sometimes, especially in the beginning, if you want to try this formal mindfulness practice, meditation or whatever, you find yourself cannot concentrate for long. It's always everywhere, and you think about a lot of things, and then sometimes people feel, oh, I'm really bad at this. Don't blame yourself. It's okay, and just you keep on practicing. Your concentration will be longer. Even it's short, it's fine. Yeah, just allow yourself, permit yourself. There's no good or bad. Just practice. With time, it will become more and more easier for you to concentrate for longer time. So that's just some tips for you. All right, that's the first part, mindfulness. Small things, but you can do at any time from today. And I'm going to turn the time and switch the gear to talk about emotional well-being, and specifically today we are talking about gratitude. This is something, especially by the end of the year, a great opportunity to start, and you can carry it on to your new year. So gratitude, I will start again with research. I'm not going to go very deep on the research, given the amount of time, but everything I shared with you today is based on scientific research. These 2 gentlemen, Dr. Robert Emmons and Dr. Michael Collin, they are they're the ones really put their time on studying gratitude. And they also publish books. I haven't read this big book they published, but I watched a lot of their YouTube videos and read research paper, etc. So what they found is gratitude is really, really useful for people to increase their happiness level, and it's something very easy for you to start to make this change in your life. So there's one of the research I will just briefly share with you. One of the research they did was they asked participants just in a number of weeks, and they asked them, well, spend a few minutes every night before you go to bed and write down 5 things that you feel grateful for. So just in a couple of weeks, and they found great effect. And what they found is, well, in general, right, people are more grateful about life, and people are happier, those participants, compared to the control group. And they're a lot more optimistic, and they can achieve their goals better. And they're more generosity, which is they're kinder to others, just compared to themselves before or compared to the control group. And they're healthier. So these are the effects of gratitude. How do you experiment or start to practice gratitude? Well, there are many ways. Um, so think about yourself. Any of you, if you are practicing gratitude, and please just type in the chat about the different ways that you are doing to, practice gratitude. I give you a few seconds to do that. And Nicole, if you see anything, can you please just read out loudly, because I have this full screen. I can't see
will.
it. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, there we go. Write a diary.
Yeah. The gratitude diary every day. Write down something. That's the most common way.
Let's see. Rocio says I started a 5-minute journaling based on gratitude every day a few months ago.
Oh, that's great. All right, I will share with you some of the tips from those researchers and the 2 professors. One thing is to integrate gratitude practice into your everyday life. And how you do that? Well, writing, spend 5 minutes or 2 minutes writing down a couple of things. That's great. And you can also just do it by noticing the good things around you, and noticing what you have. And don't just take for granted for things you have, right? You don't appreciate. Now, once you know gratitude is very beneficial for you, now start pay attention on the things surrounding you and the things you already have, and think about the benefits, and just appreciate things. You don't need to spend any additional time beyond your day-to-day life, but if you are combined with mindfulness, right, you start to notice that, and you think about it, you appreciate that. That's a gratitude, and that can make a difference to your life, and you will be happier. So that's one. If you sometimes I think Dr. Robert Emmons mentioned in one of the YouTube, he said, if people are forcing themselves in their very busy life, carve out time to write whatever things they give to themselves, and they didn't have that time, and if they force themselves, then they are not making this practice useful to them, because they feel stressed. So do whatever is useful for you, works for you. And of course, writing down, you spend a couple of minutes doing this. Write down 5 things, 3 things, whatever number of things that you can every day. And if you don't have time to write it down, do what I do. I think about it every day before I fall into sleep. I'm lying on the bed, and I think about, what are the great things I'm grateful about. And one thing I want to just mention, the gratitude research the professors did, they didn't ask people to write down big things. Anything. It can be small things like you watch a TV show, or big things like God, right? If you are religious. It can be like family things, or you had a nice meal, something you really enjoy. Small things would be great. So once you make it as a habit, that can really become part of you. And if you don't want to do it every night, think about it. You can do it once a week. The research shows it works the same. It's very useful. And some other things give you some ideas. For example, maybe once a week, the family have dinner together. Then in turn, everybody talk about something that they are grateful about, or talk about something that they appreciate, they think is fun, things like that. Or if you are a parent, you have young children, you can do this with your kids when they go to bed, and talk with them about what you are grateful for, and ask them about what they are grateful for. This small exercise can help them to cultivate this as a habit. Another exercise is write a gratitude letter. I will spend the rest of the time talking about this because it's a really powerful thing to do. But before that, I want to share with you and help you to think about what are some how do you do this gratitude, express your gratitude, the gratitude practice. How do you do it? For those people who you are already doing it, think about what's the way how you are doing it. And I will share with you some tips from Dr. Ben-Shahar. He said, well, he shared 2 tips. The first tip is do it regularly, no matter you do it every day or once a week or once a month. Do it regularly and make it as a ritual and make it as a habit. So that can help you just make it a part of your muscle. And the second tip he shared with us is do it with intention. What does this mean? Well, instead of just make it as something very quickly and as a task, right? Put it aside. Do it with intention. It means you really think about it and feel about it. And for example, if I am feeling grateful to my children, and I may close my eyes and I spend the time and I see my children, right? I see their face, or I see the moment what they were doing, and I let this feeling, these emotions flow through me. That's with intention. Think about what you really appreciate about. Yeah. So take the time to do it. It doesn't take long. It's not something like more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? Maybe just a minute, but you really feel it. That helps you to connect with that, and that helps you to feel the effect from this gratitude. Okay, now let's do a very quick exercise. What are you grateful for in 2020? I think we have time. And if anybody wants to share your thoughts, you can open your microphone and just, talk about 1, 2, or 3 things. And if you don't want to share it, it's fine. You can just write down on your piece of paper. And when you are thinking about it, I will share mine. I think in 2020 especially, I'm very grateful that everybody in my family are healthy. We're good. And I'm also very grateful that I spent time with my family. I was not traveling like before. I cannot travel. And I'm very grateful that I have enough time to do things I really want to do, such as I spent a lot of time, tremendous of time, to put together this happiness journey, the full course. And I ran the 12 workshops. I did that, and I was so grateful. I had a support from a team helping recruit students. Okay, that's it. So anybody want to open your microphone and just share 1 or 2 things? And can you open by yourself, or Nicole can help you?
Yeah, I see. Rosia, you can, if you're unable to unmute yourself, go ahead and just click the unmute button. There you go.
Thanks. So I think this year that was particularly difficult for many people because of the situation. I really feel so grateful that like my family and myself, we weren't affected at all, I think. Like I saw so many of my peers losing their jobs, and having difficult time, or families sick, things like that were really, really sad. But for me and for my husband, we are lucky enough that we were working on companies, and the kind of job that we do can be easily done from home. So from one day to the other, they just said, go home, and we let you know when we are back in the office. And it has been 42 weeks and we haven't been back in the office. But the only fact that being able to keep an income, to keep working, even given the situation, I'm immensely grateful for that. And something that I think I take for granted before, like I have a job and I have an income, and I didn't even thought about that a situation like this would be even possible. But it is, right? So now we know that these things happen in reality. But I took that for granted for many, many years. I didn't realize that it's actually something to be grateful for, to be able to have a job, and be able to support yourself and your family. And when something like this happens, that you still can do it, is incredibly surprising for me.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, that's wonderful. See, the things that we took it for granted, when we really have a different way to look at it, and we feel grateful, and we feel happy. We feel, wow, life is good.
It is, yeah.
All right. Let's see. I'm looking at the time, how much time we have. Oh, we can have, maybe Nicole, would you like to share what are something you are grateful for in 2020?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I think about this a lot, actually. I have become a lot more spiritual in the last couple of years, actually incorporating things like mindfulness, meditation, gratitude practice. And so I have been making, the effort to feel grateful, if not daily, but, like every few days. I actually have a little card at my table where I eat that says, be grateful for this meal and eat mindfully. Like I've actually written that, so I see it every day, and it's like, oh, slow down and just focus on the food and enjoy the food, and don't eat in a hurry, don't be thinking about other things. So yeah, I've purposely done that for myself, and also have been trying to do more. I mean, I do it a few times a week. I haven't quite gotten to daily, but where I actually do think about what I'm grateful for. And sometimes it is simple things, and sometimes it's I'm really happy that this is the year that I've settled down and I'm living in a nice home. And I had the opportunity to do that because of the pandemic. It actually, I was given I guess the gift of living in this nice home at a very discounted price because of the situation. And most everything that I have has been given to me, like my furniture, all the things I have mostly been given to me, because I was living a more nomadic, moving around lifestyle for so long. I had almost nothing when I moved here, and my neighbors like, here, have this table, have this couch, and so I have all these, and I realized how blessed I am that I'm living in this nice home, and I have what I need in the house. I have enough food to eat. I have work that I enjoy doing. I've actually, been getting a lot more students like in the last couple of months, and so I'm like, wow, I mean, things are pretty good, and I'm healthy. I feel good. I can go out. I can take walks. I can enjoy nature. So really, there is a lot to be thankful for.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see you're happy.
Oh, we have one more comment. Shujang, I feel grateful that we have Zoom.
Yes. And we can still see each other.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Shu. Okay. Now, I want to switch the gear to the gratitude ladder. This is another very powerful tool that many researchers have done some research and they studied and they showed the effect. I want to show you first the research from these two gentlemen, Dr. Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson. And they did research of writing a gratitude letter to someone. It can ideally not just writing it, but also delivering to this person and read the letter to that person. This can have a really, really powerful effect, not just on the person who are writing it, but also the person who's receiving the letter, as well as the relationship between these two. So that's being shown by the research. And the letter, when we say gratitude letter, it's not just a short gratitude note or the card you buy from a store, right? With one sentence or two sentences. The gratitude letter is something really think deeply about the relationship between the people and what the person you are writing to, right? What does person mean to you, and what's the relationship between you and this person means, right? So this has to be something a lot deeper and longer self-reflection. That's the power of that. When you are writing it, you feel it. When you have a chance to deliver or read out to that person, it's really powerful. And Dr. Sonia Lubomirsky, I mentioned her a couple of times already, and she also did research on the impact of a gratitude letter. And her research shows even if you are writing the letter to the person, really didn't deliver to the person, it's really helpful. It's already very impactful. And even you are writing a letter to somebody who has already passed away, there's no way to really deliver to them or read to them. It's still very, very impactful. So that's the research they show. And I want to also share with you a story from Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. As I mentioned, he taught in Harvard for many years. And in his class, positive psychology, he has gratitude letters as a assignment to his students. And every year when he taught that class, he asked people do this exercise. And he shared a story in his, in his course, which I learned, and I was so deeply touched by his story. So I want to share with you. So he said, one of the students' name is John, and he, after a week after he assigned this gratitude letter exercise to his students, and John, who never came to to his office before, or this person never spoke in his class, all of a sudden one day came to his class, to his office hour. So John came to his office hour and told him, Professor, I come here. I want to tell you about the gratitude letter exercise, the assignment you gave us. And John said, oh, I wrote this letter to my dad, and last weekend I went home and I read this letter to my dad. And it was the first time since I was 8 my dad hugged me. And when John said that, tears came out from his eyes. He's a very tough, big boy. He was in the Harvard American football team, big guy. Then that moment, that's the relationship, the impact on the relationship. So that's the one of a small example from Ben-Shahar about the impact of gratitude letters. And how does this look like? Well, I will give you a little bit time today and to, let's see, to practice it. Again, if you can have a pen and a paper besides you, then you can write a gratitude letter to someone. I will give you a few minutes, and I will give you exactly the the assignment how Tao is giving to us. Think about who is the person you want to write to. So you want to write a letter to a person you care about and who also cares about you. This can be a friend, a family member, your colleague, or others. And in the letter, no matter that person still alive or not, right? In the letter, you want to express gratitude for the things that the person did for you. And think deeply about how they contributed or continue to contribute to your life, and so on. And when you write it, don't just make it like a 2 minutes effort. Spend really good amount of time. When we do this exercise by yourself, you want to spend at least 10 minutes on it, because that will get you into the state of go deep instead of just to write down something on the surface. And it can be really long, 10 pages, or just 1 page, doesn't matter, but it's something really deeply inside you. Given the time, I think I will give you 5 minutes to do this exercise, and I will watch the time. And after that, I will, just resume and talk and hear from you about what you think. Okay, if you don't have a pen and paper, go and get it. Now, time start. I will give you only 5 minutes. All right, time is up. It's just a small exercise for you to get started. I know you haven't finished it, because I think it's way not enough for writing a deep gratitude letter to really express what you think about the person. At work, in Microsoft, when we have those manager training, in one of the training class, we also ask them to do a gratitude letter. In this one, we ask them to write to one person in their team. So they think about, okay, in my team of these maybe 10 or whatever number of people I'm leading, who is the one I want to write a gratitude letter? And I need to be specific on what are the things I'm gratitude for, right? So they go deep. And this letter, can have even bigger impact than money that give them a bonus. Yeah. So I encourage you, try this at your own time, because here I just want to get you started so that you will not just drop it, and continue, finish it, and then maybe once a month set aside maybe 15 minutes for yourself to do this. When you are doing this, again, you are not just for yourself, for feeling the gratitude, feeling this deep appreciation. You are also, if you have a chance to deliver this to the other person, help the relationship to become better towards the way that you want. And remember, when we do the polling question, relationships, many of you think that's one of the biggest thing that bring happiness to you. Okay, so I think I want to just get a very quick maybe sharing from you when you are doing this, writing the gratitude letter. Just share with whatever you feel comfortable to share. How do you feel about this experience, even though I only give you actually a little bit less than 5 minutes?
Lucy wrote a very short one in here in the chat, basically a letter to her father, saying, "Thanks, Father, you give me so much. You support me and our family. I remember many words you told me. Now you are ill. Don't worry, we will help you and take care of you."
Oh,
Yeah.
blessings to you, Lucy, and to your father.
Yeah. And also there is a question in here, if you have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
That you may want to wait till the end after some other people have shared.
Okay, let's see if anybody want to share. You don't need to share exactly what you wrote. I think just doing this exercise, how you feel about it, your own feelings. If anybody want to share, just one more person.
Yeah, I wanted to share that. So I started writing a letter to my mom, and I just think that I have so many things to say in this letter that I think 15 minutes won't be enough, because there are so many things that I'm grateful for with her. So yeah, just want to share with that. I started with just a small thing that I want to say, but there are way too much.
Yeah, I spent hours to do it, and I thought when I planned, I was trying to just write 2 pages, and I can just keep on going. It's really up to you. Everybody's different, but when you do it, when you really bring that sensation into you, right, that feelings, all this good memory, and a lot of things we appreciate about that person. When you go deep, that's where the effect really comes to you. And especially if you have a chance, read this letter to that person, you'll see the magic happen. You'll see how, both sides, right, how you feel at that moment. Nicole, can you help me on whatever the questions?
Oh yeah, actually, Rocio, I don't know if you want to just stay unmuted and ask your question, or if you'd like me to read it.
I can ask the question.
Okay.
So my question was, I feel like is when we are feeling good and when things are going well, it's easier to feel gratitude, and it's easy to recognize things. But sometimes not everything is good. Sometimes you have issues or things that happen in life in general, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like at those times I don't feel like I want to be grateful, or I can't think of anything to be grateful for, even though I know there is. So my question is, how can we, maybe a tip that you can share with us, how can we tune in again and appreciate things, even though there are maybe, or there is a part of our life that is not good? How can we appreciate the rest of our lives?
It's a great question. I think I will borrow what Tal Ben-Shahar told us. One of the things that can help us to think about in difficult time, how can we appreciate, how can we look at life in through a different lens, right, or different way. The book I want to recommend everybody to think about, or read or search for, is Man Searching for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Yeah, he was in the Nazis camp, and he survived. He, so many people died, but when he was there, he looked at things differently because he has a belief, he has hope, and I read his book. They are, even in that time, they can have some fun. They sing, they have all this performance, and they find different things, small things, even finding a string, or a piece of bread, or little things. They feel so grateful and so happy. So that's one. And the other thing is, I think besides reading books like that, I think just the practice, think about something grateful, right? Even in the beginning, there's nothing interesting today. And if you really quiet down and you think, well, every day has something I can feel grateful for, you look for it, then you will notice it. And then it will become a habit. And you may unconsciously creating these type of moments, such as being kind to others, right? Smile more to others, right? To people who you don't know, and you see the other person smile back to you. All these little things, it can bring a difference to your life.
Michelle, I have kind of a similar comment to that. I have a couple of friends that I mentioned the gratitude thing for, because I know for a while it was going around in November where people were like posting one thing they were grateful for every day on social media. And a couple of my friends kind of made the negative comment of like, that seems so fake to like, and I'm like, what do you mean that seems fake to feel gratitude? But they just seemed like it wasn't a natural thing. Like they just thought that was being, I don't know, just not being honest or something, or they just felt that it was not natural for them to show gratitude. And because everything was, in their opinion, like really bad in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there are people who look into the world with different lenses, and if they look at the world, everything's bad, bad things happen, right? They have all this negative energy, and they are just keep on strengthening the negative things. That's why positive psychology, positive thinking is powerful, because when you are looking for the good appreciates.
I agree.
All right, I will just quickly just summarize what we have shared today. I shared with you about the happiness studies from Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar. It's amount of information, a lot of ways, very practical ways for us to think, to make our lives happier, to live a happier life. And among those things, then we take his framework, this SPIRE, SPIR, spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional well-beings. That's the framework. And underneath, he just picked 2 for each for us to do this type of short workshops. And today we spend a little bit of time only get to a surface of mindfulness as well as gratitude. It can go deeper and a lot of more data information to back it up. But I just want to share with you something very practical so you can start to use right away today. And you already started through this workshop. Just keep on practicing. And again, the gratitude letter we just started. Finish it whenever you have time, and go over it again after you finish it. Maybe another day, do it, and maybe set aside some time for yourself. Do it once a month. Up to you. And then in your daily life, do something smaller, something that you can do quickly by just noticing things, right? But by just thinking more positively, and just by every night or every week, think about things that you are grateful, or write it down. Keep it. That helps you, and especially when it's difficult. It's when you are in some days that you are not happy, bring those things in and look at it. That helps you to remember the good things and help you to turn your emotions to the positive side. So that's the basic information I shared with you. And as I mentioned, there are a lot of more information. And I spent my 2020, from May, I started to put together the happiness journey workshop based on the core content. And I have a Chinese version. That's why it took me so much time, because I did a Chinese version for audience who don't speak English, and we run a number of workshops there. And in 2021, I plan to launch also an English version, which is a lot easier, I think. To that, I haven't really, set the dates for doing this, because I want to see how the market reacts. And I think I probably will start mid-January, just to do it. The more I shared it, the happier I am, because every time when I go through it, I'm reminding myself mindfully to practice this, to do what I'm saying. So it's helpful to me. So that's the kind of things I'm putting together, and I hope it's helpful to you.